Oh, man. Welcome to Champ Talk with Branden Hudson. I am your host, Branden Hudson, and I have the pleasure to be sitting across from one of my favorite guys, my favorite people.
Just Chet.
Just Chet.
Still. Just Chet.
Oh, man, Chet, that's great, brother. Oh, man, guys, it's been a while since we've been here. Dude, it's been, we looked at it yet today because we always do shit last minute. What was it? Maybe 3 years or 2 years? It's either been 3 or 2 years.
It's been a blur, so I'm not even going to try to figure out exactly, but
It's been a while, dude.
Yeah.
It's been a while. I want to say it's been 3 years since we've been in the seat. But a minimum of 2 years since we've done Champ Talk. Now the cool thing was, Chet, is we've got about 98 episodes that are on our YouTube video pages and
yes, and I get reminded about that frequently when I run into people like, "You guys doing that? How come you stopped doing that? Are you doing that?" And they're going back and they're finding it, but that's what they're saying now. I've gone back and checked it out. So
yeah, and that reminds me, guys, if you get value from this video, if there's anything that you take away or want to share, please subscribe to the YouTube page, subscribe to our Facebook page, like and share this, pass this along, give this to anybody you think would gain value from, because that's how we get seen more and notarized more. This episode of Champ Talk is brought to you by SBY MMA and Fitness.
Who?
SBY MMA and Fitness.
Where's that?
SBY MMA and Fitness, motherfuckers. Oh, sorry. There I go again.
See, already
I did it again.
We're a minute 45 in, and this is not turning a new leaf.
No, it is. Listen, I've been chopping up old. Some of you guys that follow us, I've been chopping up old episodes of the old Champ Talk, right?
For those nuggets.
For the nuggets, and literally, I have a guy who I do. Shout out to Connor Fallon, man, with Fallon Digital. He's a beast. Well, he sent me one, and literally there was one clip that he sent me one time, dude, and I think I said the word "fuck" every word of the sentence, dude. So one of my vows is I'm cleaning up my act. I know I've already dropped the F-bomb twice. I'm not going to say the F-bomb, but some of the episodes that I saw in Champ Talk really made me cringe. And I'm like, and we're constant evolution. I don't apologize for nothing. I want that to be known. But yeah, we're going to clean up our act just a little bit, and with that being said, I want to kind of share some light on that. For me, this is the only time I get to be myself, right? I'm at I'm at SBY MMA and Fitness constantly. We're dealing with members, the community, parents, kids.
Yeah, well, think about just flipping the switch, going from kids class to fighter practice.
Oh gosh,
it's two different worlds.
Some of those kids are in the kids class and they're like, "Oh man, Coach Branden, I don't know what I would do without you." And then they hear me go into fighter practice, like, "Oh, mommy, I'm so scared of Coach Branden. He said he was going to kill the guys." And I mean, it's bad, dude. But yes, I've been working on trying to reel it back in. But this is the only time that I can be me. Then I'm over at the Maryland and Delaware group of EXP Realty, which we're doing some really big things over there, but that's a shameless plug. And I'm on there. I'm constantly at the mercy of the public, and I'm online with content. I got a lot going on. So for me, when I initially started Champ Talk,
that's heavy because right now I just feel like I'm at the mercy of this chair. Getting used to this chair. It's a lovely chair, by the way.
This chair is so comfortable, dude.
Yeah. It's not, But I'm trying not to move because somebody just educated me on the body goes this way.
He said, "Just go back."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just go back. Yeah.
Just talk louder.
No, go back to the original place.
Back to the original.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
So anywho, but yeah, lost my train of thought there.
I'm testing you.
You're testing me. Yeah, I know what you're doing. Yep. But for me, you know what I mean? When we originally started Champ Talk, it was one of those things where a good friend of mine, Justin Schaub, was like, "Hey, brother, you got a good message. You should put out Champ Talk. You should put out a podcast." And I'm like, "Dude, I don't even fucking listen to podcasts, right? Like, I don't even know what that is." And he's like, "Yeah, man, they're leave me alone, Chet. Yeah, you know what I mean? I know I said it, all right? Leave me alone." He's like, "No, man, you got a good message, this, that, and third." And what I've learned in the course of my life is the things that I resist kicking and screaming the most usually are better for me. Fast forward to 90-some episodes later, you know what I mean? A plethora of content and a lot of fun. We've had a lot of good guests.
A lot of fun, a lot of cool guests. And, man, but how bad did we suck?
Oh, gosh.
I mean, it was still fun. Like, it's anything else new like that. A little scary, but absolutely a lot of fun.
Well, I'm not sure if we still don't suck, you know what I mean? But I just don't think we suck as bad as we first started.
Yeah, we really sucked.
Yeah, we did. We did. But it was cool, man. And that's what we started with the whole vision of Champ Talk and why we're here. And what it's done is it's kind of turned into its own animal and its own thing. For me, you know what I mean? Like, I never really expected it to be received so positively. You know what I mean? I thought we would just get on here, and we did this. I thought we would just get on here and say a bunch of dumb, weird stuff and go into all the topics and rambles and all the stuff. And it ended up turning into a pretty rewarding thing we did weekly.
No, for sure.
Yeah, because I remember when we were done, you were like, dude, I miss it. I'm like, I miss it too.
And, I know. Because it was such a, even though it was same time every week, and we're just going in there like clockwork.
Yeah.
There's like, once it wasn't there, it's like, man,
I miss it.
It's just a little hole. Yeah. There's a little hole right now to fill because it's not there. But it wasn't just because it wasn't just the act of doing it and coming in and having some fun. There was a lot of stuff behind it too. A lot of the feedback that wasn't even online. It was the personal messages from people and conversations that came up because of that. But it was nice to know that people were listening, not just because they were listening, but that they did find something in it. And they would say, man, I missed you guys this week. Did you, when's it coming out? It might've been a day late or something like that, but they, because they were looking forward to it.
Yeah. Like we would have delays in the cuts and
and again, not just because, they're listening, they're watching, but it was because they did find something in it that I think sometimes we didn't even realize was there.
Right. Well, that's what I was saying. We would have delays in the shoot, the drop, or whenever we aired it, and they were like, "Hey, is everything all right?" I uploaded. I didn't find it out. By the way, you can get this through our Facebook page, YouTube channel, and you can get this on Spotify and I believe, is Apple Music still running? One of them said they weren't running anymore. Does anybody know Apple Music still
I don't know, but I know
definitely on Spotify.
We'll have them out there.
Yeah,
though, right?
We'll have them out there and let you know.
And the other thing with that too is that I was thinking about, even though sometimes we just go in like, we don't even know what we're going to talk about. Like maybe that could have even happened today, but we would go in with an idea, go in with a plan, or even an outline of things, and then things would come out of that I don't even think we were anticipating.
Totally agree.
But again, it was just another example of how that led into other conversations, conduits to other people. So yeah, cool thing.
Yeah, you're exactly right, dude. We would be kind of just opening up things and just rambling, or we would have one topic and then just the gems and the magic and the things that would like kind of transpire and unfold during that process was pretty remarkable. For me, I was like, man, where did that come from? And really got into doing this. I really liked it, and here we are. For those that don't know, we obviously are in a different studio. This is the official Champ Talk. It's not really 2.0, but I say 2.0. But this is the Champ Talk 2.0 studio. This is right here located at our gym, SBY. It's a pretty cool little man cave we got going on here. But we were using a different facility at the time, a different studio, and unfortunately, that relationship had dissolved, and that was just we needed to part ways and do other things. And then I tell you, man, I didn't realize how much goes into what we do and what we had to begin. So we had this excess room here at the gym that came with the deal, and I've never had an office, and I've always wanted an office, and I was like, I need some privacy, and it just made sense to make this space. It's kind of an odd space. It's not like really squared. It's kind of long, and we made this space into like a three-part idea of like an office, a training consultation area, and then obviously the studio and the Champ Talk studio and the consultation studio.
Huge shout out to
Coach Andrea.
Yes.
Man. Coach Andrea.
Wish we had the little sound things right now for the claps. But.
Yeah, dude, she put it all together. I had the vision, but she really dialed it in and put it all together. And man, what a gem she is. What a freaking MVP that she is. And shout out to her. She put it all together, man. And just the decorations, the idea, the vision, and things like that. And we still got more to come, but yeah. So we've got it here. We've got the studio here now, and it's it's a lot of moving parts to go into this. You know, we've had to get some equipment, some cameras. We had to get some advice. The thing is let me talk to you guys about doing a podcast that are listening. You do not have to go crazy when you do your podcast, right? All you have to do is just start. You can use your iPhones. You don't have to be fancy. The biggest thing is getting started and moving and doing it, right? So many people want to get in here and try to do exactly what we did. Now, we had the benefit of going to a podcast bar,
right,
where they were doing something that not many have done before, started that, plug in, go, everything's, edited, everything's pushed out there. I pay my money, they do it, boom. We had a studio. We had all these things. I didn't want to go backwards. I didn't think that we should go backwards. And
it was a good thing, because could you imagine if it was up to the two of us?
Oh, gosh, dude. Yeah.
We wouldn't be sitting here doing this right this second.
No, 100%. So we didn't.
It took long enough.
Yeah,
so.
We didn't want to go backwards. And what we wanted to do was we wanted to have the same kind of feel that we did before. But when you're starting off, you know what I mean? Like, bro, get your iPhone. It don't have to be a fancy studio. It doesn't have to be nothing crazy. You can get your phone or your laptop or your computer. Do the webinar. I've been guests on so many different podcasts in the past 3 years that all of them, not one of them, other than Branden Brittingham's, which shout out to freaking Branden Brittingham, dude. Wake Up to Wealth, right? This dude's got the #1 podcast in the country for investing. Other than, and he just surpassed last week Dave Ramsey, who, if anybody knows anything about the world of investment, he's like the guy that everybody listens to. I don't necessarily always agree with some of his philosophies, but he certainly knows what he's doing. And Branden turned around and passed that. So shout out to him. But that was the only podcast bar that I've ever been at, or a podcast studio that I've ever been at. And I've been a guest on so many different episodes. So my point is just start the episode. Just get it started. You don't have to do all the fancy stuff. You don't have to be, you just grow piece by piece as you go. You know what I mean? You can get one of those, they're inexpensive, like a
little
50,
lapel
80
mics.
buck little lapel mics. You can plug, do the Bluetooth through your phone, cut off the what is it called? The sounds, the calls and stuff like, turn it on silent.
But you're right. I mean, think about how many people just started off with their videos on Facebook, or even they're posting. We talk about this all the time. You talk about this a lot. Like, just do it. You're too worried about it being perfect.
Yeah.
Just jump in and it'll evolve.
Well, that reminds me. I got a friend in this mastermind. He does that, right? Give him a shameless plug. Check out Your Podcast Suck. You know what I mean? So he's my buddy Sebastian, and he actually put out a post, and this is his world, and he said 1% of people survive in the podcasting world, and here's why. They said, I'm gonna butcher the post, but I'll try to pull it up. But basically, what he was saying he was saying that out of all of the people that do that, right, do podcasting, that 1%, generally speaking, get past one episode, right? And then the other 1%, generally speaking, do under 21. Here it is. Yes, thank you. Don't be a 1% podcaster. Shout out to Sebastian Rusk, man. He's a good friend of mine. He's got Podcast Sucks. And he says, to be a 1% podcaster, you have to upload 21 podcasts. 90% don't go past one episode. 9% don't go past 20. And 1% make it to 21 plus episodes. He said, you know what I mean? So basically, when you think about that, how many people start things and don't finish it? And a lot of that comes from the immediate results, you know what I mean? I don't see anything bad, from it. No, I don't have any listeners or whatever. And, the purpose of the podcast, and this is the purpose of our podcast, I want to entertain. I want you guys to be entertained. I want you guys to kind of hear the closest the closest you can get into my personal world, or personal mind, I should say, without having to be this fucking all stuck up. And I told you I'm going to say the word. All right. I'm just not going to say it every sentence. Chet's like my freaking mom. Like, put your money in the change, or and put your change in the pot.
In a swear jar. Here you go.
We might put it up here behind us. But yeah, so, at the end of the day, we have, the purpose of this is to, entertain people, let them see the inside, let them see what we do. And then also, obviously I'm trying to help the mindset and trying to help, you think of other and bigger and better things to do. We want to also touch on, what's going on locally in the mixed martial arts world, what's going on locally on the Eastern Shore and in Maryland, and then highlight other people and bring other people's ideas on. So,
which I think was a really interesting thing in the beginning, because a lot of people thought, because of who was involved, because remember Eric was there in the beginning too, and because of the name, they were expecting a lot of
MMA talk,
a lot of combat sports,
Yep.
and wasn't necessarily the direction we were in. Now, of course, that gets into a lot of the conversations, and sometimes the episodes, that's what they were about, or we had a guest on, that's what that episode was about. But I think what was another really cool thing was what we found was people hung around even though it's not what they expected.
Yeah, agreed.
And then what they found was something that they did or they didn't.
Yep.
Which we had some of those too.
Yep.
Who's watching? We got 2 people watching, and hey, that person that's coming, he hates us. Okay. Oh well, So expect that too. But we did get a response, and I think again, on the list of cool things, that was very cool to see that, even though it wasn't all about, we weren't going over every fight that happened, going deep dives into things, that people stuck around for the content.
Yeah, that's another thing is I want to be I want to be versatile. I want to be, I want this show to be have dynamic. I don't want it to just be, and I'm saying there's nothing wrong with that model. For me, I don't want to be on here doing a professional podcast. I could do that. We'll do another one of those where I talk strictly how to grow your business, how to run an MMA gym, how to recruit real estate agents and manage and coach and recruit realtors. We could do all that stuff, right? But for me, this is just something I just want to have fun with, and I want to continue to have fun, and I want to entertain, I want to educate, I want to help, I want to just have a lot of laughs and nuggets, and I want people to take away from this something that will help them get through their day or get through their week, or maybe make that big change in that decision of, hey, I want to go next level and do something better. And it
happened in the past, so I definitely see it happening now.
So, Chet, you've had some big things go down in your life in the last 3 years. Tell me about those things. What's been new? What? Tell your listeners, all 4 of them, exactly what it is that Chet's doing.
You mean the let's say the transition, but then you'll take that somewhere else. For
say what you want, partner. That's your transition, not mine, player. I'm looking up to see exactly how long it's been since we've been on. But go ahead, talk to us about it. What's been going on?
So today, officially, last day with my former place of employ.
Wow.
So
they fired you?
No, actually, they let me hang around as long as I wanted to be around, and it was just time for a change.
Now, how long were you with them? And can we give them a shout out? Is that okay? Or
Draper Media, yeah, absolutely.
DSN, shout out all those guys.
DSN, WBOC, the whole, everybody there. Great people, great place. Just time for a little bit of a change for me personally.
How long were you there?
8 years.
Wow.
With them, but I was in.
So you're committed.
Yeah, ad sales forever, radio, and goes way back. Today was the last official day there.
So what are you doing?
So
I'm so clueless. I don't know what you're doing. Chet, tell us all what's going on.
Yeah, this really nice guy, Branden Hudson.
Never heard of her.
Said when I inquired as to what positions might be available at the Maryland Delaware group, I was thinking possibly in one direction, and you said, hey, how about this? Because you're kind of doing this already. So it's a mouthful, but now I am your talent acquisition specialist.
Yes. And for you, the viewers that don't know what that means Chet is the Maryland and Delaware group of EXP's recruiter. So we're looking for talent, looking for people that want to be a real estate agent or get into real estate or, whatever have you. And fun fact, and I'm going to take over a little bit, Chet's got a little bit of a background in real estate. And you actually started with Branden Brittingham.
With Branden Brittingham, same licensing class.
Yep,
and
way back when.
We were realtors fresh out of that class way back when.
And basically Chet, Chet's got a foothold on the community. It's been, he's had so many people that, I don't know if anybody, I think people know more people know Chet than they know me, because every time we go to restaurants, or sit down and eat or go somewhere, it's like 6 people are coming up to one or the other saying, hey, buddy, hey, buddy.
It's kind of funny. Like, good luck walking through any place that we're not like, hey.
Absolutely. So, yeah, so that's pretty cool. And just a side plug real quick. It looks like our last episode of Champ Talk was November of 22 or October of 22. So we're about 2 years that we've been off the air.
I was going to say, if it was October, that would make sense because of the fight. I don't know.
Well, there's 2 weird ones. But anyway, Chet's been with us. Chet's with us now. We just over there, the Maryland Delaware group, and this isn't a plug. This is just telling you guys what's going on. We went from one brokerage to EXP Realty, and you know what I mean. It was the things that EXP offers us are just fits us and fits our model, and it's going to be super advantageous for any realtor that comes on board or existing realtor. They have great benefit packages, and they have a great stock options. They have they got the latest technology and the transactional side. Everything's just so much better. And Branden and Rich took a lot of time to make that decision, and that's what they thought was the best for the direction of the company. And if you guys know, Branden Brittingham and Rich are heavy in the investment side, heavy in the real wholesaling side, and they needed me to kind of step up my role in more of the leadership, brokerage side, and obviously I would pulling from different strings and using different hats. And
well, and one of the things too is those guys. I mean, Branden, Rich, everybody over there is always looking for something better, and not you say for the company, but not the company as a company, but the people that are there.
Yeah,
and so
I agree.
And that's one of the things too I love is, and being on the outside and knowing a little bit about it is the culture there.
Yeah, and
that's something I think you and I have probably said a million times doing the podcast is culture and community. Something we talk about a lot.
Cult.
And cult.
Yeah. If you want some Kool-Aid, we've got it.
So it's not a plug at all, though. Not a plug at all.
No, that's what I just wanted to educate. What else are you doing?
What else am I doing?
Yeah.
I get to come to SBY MMA every day and help with the operations here. So
I would go out on a limb and say a little bit more than that. You know what I mean? So, we officially made Chet. You mind if I tell?
No. I want to hear it. Talk to you.
Yeah, we
enough about you.
We Chet talk with Chet. Chet talk. Chet.
I
can't
thank
remember.
You, yep.
But we Chet's officially the the manager here. You know what I mean? I don't know if we want to call him the floor manager or the gym manager, but he's my number 2 guy. So, he's been helping out for a while. It's not really been official until we had the liberty to talk about it. But yeah, dude. I mean, if anybody knows anything about the gym and about SBY, you know what I mean. It is a pretty well-oiled machine, and I mean we have a ton of mistakes that we make on a daily basis, and we have a ton of improving to do. But 99% of that well-oiled machine has been you. You know what I mean? Just filling in, taking it on, making mistakes, learning from them, making implementations that we've never thought about, all the above, man. And it's been something that has been insanely beneficial for our club and for our school. So I'm not only just, letting everyone know, that you're the gym, you're the manager. What's it called? What's the big manager called? The store manager, gym man? I don't know what the fuck. Anyway. I'm not trying to let everybody else know.
We don't need a whole mouth. The other one's got a whole mouthful.
Yeah, let's make it easy. You know what I mean? He's the manager. He's number 2.
Hey, like I said before, it's just Chet. You can come in just ask for me by name.
Yeah. Well, but I wanna also give you your flowers and recognize, man, dude, you know what I mean? You have been the rock behind everything, and it's been cool for me, dude, to have you in that seat, you know what I mean? And I'm hard on you, hard as a mug on him, dude. I am so hard on him. I mean, I'm not like a raging maniac, you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm like the Vince McMahon of, of MMA here. I don't know if you've seen the documentary. I just watched it last night. But I demand a lot. I have high standards. I demand a lot, and I put you in the fire and just said sink or swim and figure it out, because unfortunately, I didn't know how to run a business at the time, and it was all up in my head, and we didn't have time to train. So just the leaps and bounds that you've overcome, and the things that we're doing, and where we're going with that, Joe.
We're figuring it out, though.
Yep, we're figuring it out, and I wanted to acknowledge that and let your listeners know and our listeners know, what you've been doing. I mean, you've been wearing a bunch of hats here recently, and still continue to, and I'm just excited about where it's going, man, and what we've got going on.
Well, thank you, and I'm glad to put this hat back on. So
yeah, man,
this will be fun.
Yeah. What else has been going on in the past 3 years?
That's about it.
Any life altering things or anything?
Life altering things.
Yeah.
Heart attack? Is what you're talking about?
I mean, I wasn't gonna say nothing, Chet, but now that you brought it up,
you keep poking and prodding, and you said we're going to talk about that sometime. Well,
so
I didn't think it'd be first episode, but you keep glaring at me like that. So
I wanted to bring that up, and I'll tell you why. What is, and we're not going to make this sappy, so I'm not going to get to that route, because we'll do that quick. But you had a little bit of a scare.
Oh yeah,
right, and everyone was freaking out. You know what I mean, including yourself. And you had some what's the name, effects from the COVID era, right? When we were in COVID,
yeah.
right, and things like that. What's the biggest takeaway, and what's the couple of the biggest things you've learned with? And I'm not trying to put your personal business out there too much. But what's the biggest takeaways and biggest things you've learned from, what you've had to get through and endure the past, couple of years? So
it's pretty simple. There's a couple things. One, stress is absolutely a killer. Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying to eliminate it, because I don't know anybody who can eliminate stress, mm-hmm. but learn how to manage it.
Sure.
And a lot of what happens in your head affects the rest of you for sure. There's no way around that. Don't be a dumb guy. Unless something's bleeding, broken, falling off. A lot of times we're not headed to see a doctor about it. But get a checkup, especially if you have family history there. It doesn't matter how many great supplements you take, how much you eat right, you eat the right things, how much you exercise. The hereditary stuff will catch you. Sometimes it's going to catch you. You can't outrun that. You need to manage that, and better sooner than later. And I found out the hard way, like a dumbass, apparently. But that's not what I went into the hospital for. It was because I had vertigo, like out of the blue, nowhere, don't even know how that happened. And while I was in there, that's when I found out. So I didn't go because of any cardiac episode. It was for vertigo, which was miserable in itself.
Well, thank God, right?
Yeah. And they're like, oh, by the way,
Jesus.
you've had a heart attack. So yeah.
You've had a couple reactions to the
COVID
vaccine,
yeah.
Which we're not going to go on a soapbox, but
no. I'll say, like, I'm not anti-vaxxer.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy conspiracy theory bullshit, whatever. But what I do know is, for me personally, after getting shots and boosters, about 90 days later, end up with psoriasis and the diagnosis for psoriasis and arthritis. Like, it wasn't there before. Like, absolutely was not even there. Now, it runs in the family, but then you start reading the fine print, and it's like, oh, well, this is a known thing that it could ramp that up and make that present when it wasn't before. And then the other part of that was being in the hospital, being asked by doctor after doctor, nurse after nurse, did you have your COVID shots? Yeah, I did. And then they're telling me their personal stories and stories of patients, not by name, obviously.
Sure, of course.
So it does make one wonder, was there something to that?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was
in a nutshell.
Yeah. Yeah. That could be a whole episode on its own. But in a nutshell, for me, yeah, that was. So kids, take your vitamins, eat your fruits and veggies,
say your prayers,
and go to the fucking doctor.
Yeah. How about it? Yeah, That's incredible, man. And I wanted to kind of share that because it's always about Branden or about other things, and I just, I wanted people to know because, man, you've battled, dog. You have been. If there's anything a champion experience has been, exemplified, that's you.
I got more work to do, as you know.
Right, we do, and I'm on your ass on every fucking moment of it. But yeah, man, it's been a hell of a ride, man, and just shoosh. Man, being in that driver's seat and being next to you, and just what we've done and accomplished has been like I don't want to act like we're special or better than anybody because we've got a lot of work to do and we're constantly evolving. But man, sometimes I sit back and think like, holy shit, how the hell did we get through? How did we get here? You know what I mean? Like,
well, even when you ask the question, like, do you remembering like when the last episode? It's like I'm serious, like a blur, man. The time. Yeah. I always remember my parents saying, when you get older and time's well, here we are. It's like blink your eyes and
so scientifically true. Scientifically speaking, that's true. So they've done research that time goes by faster when you're older. What happens is when your mind, and I'm going to butcher this a little bit, but I'll just summarize. Your mind is always going toward the path of least resistance. When you're young, your memories are so great and so powerful because most of them are first times. Mm-hmm. So it's first time you had a memory here and first time you did this. And I heard this from Ed Milet off his podcast that he does. And basically what happens is because, that was the first summer that you had as a, teenager, the first time you drove a car, or first time you got that, that new toy or whatever have you. Those memories are embedded in your brain. Well, as you get first over and over and over again, your mind becomes to, least resistance, and it's not as special, it's not as big, it's not as important as it was before. It's kind of like, and he referenced this, it's kind of like going to a restaurant that you love going to the restaurant, and you tell all your friends to go to the restaurant, you love it, but it's not always as good as it was when you went that one time, but that one time was the first time, and you just kind of remember that spirit, that thing. And sometimes you're like, man, this restaurant sucks, dude. Why do I keep coming here? You know what I mean? It's just that third. But your mind's always going back to that first time. So as we get older, we tend to not have as many firsts, and we tend to constantly just overlook all of the things that we do. So they said, if you want to slow down time, to do things out of the ordinary as often as possible, have more first experience, and take your time. So there's your golden nugget for the day. You know what I mean?
And you can do interesting exercises. And I had they were talking about, I'm pointing out there, the cage. They're talking about some, a way to switch your mind. Like one of these little tricks you can do is, people tend to take the same way home every day, same way to work, same way to school. You've got that route that you take because it's fastest or it's whatever. It's like, go out of your way, go a different way, go do something there. And then but you said a restaurant, it made me think of that too. It's like, it's something totally different, something that you would, and start doing those things to exercise your mind, to help unlock that so you can think in a different way, so you can pivot.
Yeah.
Versus getting stuck on one thing.
Well, they say brush your teeth with your left hand and or your opposite hand and all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, it's cool, man.
And so, what's been up with Branden? And don't tell me nothing because you've had some things going on.
Man, I don't even know if I can remember everything that goes on, dude. It's like sometimes my life is like a blur. Man, we've had so much, man. There's been so many things. Got a kid. I got a new baby.
Know.
Yeah, like
See,
I got a new son.
I need these buttons on here so I can clap.
I do. I got my youngest daughter turned 18, and I got a new toddler. He'll be 2 years old the day after Christmas. That's been like the biggest thing in my life that I'm going through and experiencing. We've just it's been business as usual, man. And you've had some really good times, some not so good times, and all the above. We have new faces here at the gym. We have, still have some old faces. Some faces have left and gone, and it's just it's a lot of same as at the office. It's been a lot, man. It's been a lot of moving parts and a lot of things that have been, just transpiring and come to fruition, and it's been good. I was talking about this today in the meeting, and we're constantly, sometimes folks get it mixed up when you're not running the scoreboard up. You know what I mean? The haters or some people in your inner circle, the people that are on your team, the people who are in your family, they forget, and they think that just because you're not running the scoreboard up like you normally do, that you're losing, and that's not been the case at all. We've been constantly winning. We've been setting record signups.
The work still goes on behind the scenes.
The work still
no matter
goes
what you see
on.
or you hear.
Yeah, man. It's like so. We're still winning and doing a lot of great things. And this isn't like we're beating anybody else. We're just besting our best every single day and every single week, every single month and quarter and year. So for me, it's just been, it's been like it's kind of one of those ways where we're kind of like, rebuilding a lot of things, with the gym, with the teams, with the people, with, SOPs, standard operating procedures, same at the office. And, I think that each level has its own devil, you know what I mean? So like when you get to another level, you're at the top of, the one heaps. If you take jiu-jitsu for an example, when I get to the blue belt, I'm at the top of the white belt division. So I'm smashing all the white belts predominantly and beating a lot of the blue belts and maybe even giving a purple belt or two a run for their money. And then when you, once you get to that blue belt level and you get awarded that, then you're no longer at the top. You're right at the bottom again, but you're at a different level. So
and either way, you always got a target on your back.
Always, yeah.
For one reason or another.
100%. So, I see that is a thing that maybe we're at. We've hit a space where we're growing. And sometimes when you're not winning, or excuse me, when you're not running the scoreboard up and you're so used to that, sometimes what can happen is as a business owner or as a leader or whatever have you, as a coach, as a team or whatever, you can fall into the trap of believing that you're not winning. Something's wrong, something's off, because, we talk about it here. We've talked about it at the office. When you have all of the things that you ever could want, you know what I mean? When you're growing up with a silver spoon in your hand, sometimes you forget how poverty really works, right? Or what poor really looks like. So, and that's a big trap that a lot of leaders and business owners and those that are alike go through, because they start believing that, oh man, am I? And I've had this problem too. It's like the simple, is my dress pretty? Yeah, everybody tells me my dress is so pretty, but that one or two people that says it's ugly, that's the only ones I think about is those words, the ones that said my dress was ugly. By far not the reality or not what's really going on. You don't know why they would think that dress is ugly. Maybe the dress is ugly to them, but at the same time, who gives a fuck? We've got everybody else that are cheering you on and happy about it and loving you and all the other things. Who cares if those two people say that? But human psychology goes towards, the negative. It goes towards the
drama.
The drama. So I see a lot of, and I know a lot of business owners, and I've fell victim to this a few times in my life, where you start believing that because you're not running the scoreboard up like you used to, you're not winning. So then we got to change everything up. We got to do something different, and that's different than pivoting. You know what I mean? That means you're just trying to throw out the playbook and trying to do something new, and that's not always healthy. Especially in these times, like. Dude, there's no question that we've had one of the hardest and most difficult economies in the past 3.5 years. You know what I mean? Excuse me. So there's no question that you had that big COVID boom and everybody was selling houses and everybody was getting money and all this stuff was going on and customer service diminished and people's ambitions diminished, and you had a whole wave of kids that got really fucked up because they didn't even graduate high school or they had virtual learning. You had all these different factors that you know what I mean, took place in our society, regardless of whatever you are, pro or anti whatever. We all experienced that and went through that. So when that ran out, you really saw the byproduct of that kind of society and that kind of lifestyle. And and
there's bad stuff and there's good stuff that
100%.
came out of it, because people had to get creative and had to
we
figure
did
things
well.
out.
We did well through it. But yeah, so then you add in the fact then you add in the part of where that stuff happened, all the money ran out, people had to go back to work. Then you add in the fact that the economy was, shit and what it was going through, and the interest rates and the cost of goods and all the other stuff. And let's not talk about our political views and everybody starting to throw stones and shade at everybody. It's like, bro, that's a tough fucking society to live in. That's a tough time to live in. For no matter how much disconnected you are, you still have somebody online, somebody in your family. You still have people that, you're affected by because they're into that wave and that bullshit, or they're struggling or whatever. And if you're a business owner, and you made it through, like, hats off to you, man. Like, hats off to you. I think I'm not sure if it's right, the last statistic I saw from NAR, National Association of Realtors, that I think it was 60%. And again, you could fact check me. I'm just.
I think I know what you're going to say.
It was like 60% of real estate agents didn't renew their license, and then there was like another like 60 or 50% only sold 1 or 2 homes a year. You know, we got our lowest agent at our office has sold 6, 7 homes, and she's 19 years old. Our brand new, not lowest, our brand new agent. She's 19 years old and just started. I mean, she sold 6 houses this year and made top out at 8. So we do things differently over there. It's why we've been number 1 for so long, and why we've been crushing it for so long. But at the end of the day, like, dude, when you think about it, when you look at it, dude, like, it's been tough. It's been a tough economy.
Oh, yeah.
It's been tough everywhere. And for us, we've been growing. We've been breaking numbers. We signed up 104 members over the summertime, which, back in my day, I mean, back a couple years ago, we were lucky to get 20 or 30 people on the mats. You know what I mean? Alone. So we signed up that many members to our a gym in the summertime. You know what I mean? For those that don't know,
I mean, if you had 100 people total, you were killing it.
Yeah, for those that don't, 100%. For those that don't know, on the Eastern Shore in Maryland, in Salisbury, we are 3/4. Well, actually, we're 4/4. We're completely surrounded by water now. They dredged a little canal up in Delaware, but generally speaking, we're a peninsula. We're 3/4 surrounded by water, and we're 2 hours from everything. We're 2 hours from Baltimore, 2 hours from Philly, 2 hours from Virginia Beach, 2 hours from DC. So we don't have the metropolitan feel, right? For those that kind of can understand, again, I don't give a shit about politics, but the state is a blue state. The shore is like red. You know what I mean? To kind of give you some context of the differences between that water of bay, or that body of water, the Chesapeake Bay. That's what separates the Eastern Shore from Baltimore, Annapolis, DC, and so forth. So we're right down here on the Eastern Pacific. So I tell people we're more beach people than we are city people, right? So for us, when the summertime hits, and we have 3 prominent colleges here on the shore. Actually, 4 if you count UD. So, we have Salisbury University, which is a Division III school. That's our big school. We have Warwick, which I read somewhere that Maryland community colleges are the best community colleges in the country. So Warwick Community College, that's a big college for us here in Salisbury. And then we have UMES, which is a big college. I don't know what division they are. I think the division... I don't know, but I don't know the division. Anyway,
and they've got more amazing stuff than I ever knew when I got to work with them pretty closely. Like just some of the programs that they have there.
UMES is a college about 15 minutes south or 10 minutes south of Salisbury. So we're a college town. So what happens is in May, you have we had 25 members that either graduated or went back home, or wanted to work for the semester or for the summer. We're baseball and softball is big in this area, so that travel ball and all that stuff plays a huge part. And you have all just the summertime activities. Some water sports are big, vacationing's big, and things like that. So it starts to be a ghost town in Salisbury now. September and those months you're jumping again. February and after the break. But for those months, it's tough. And again, historically speaking, I've had trouble trying to get 20 members in the gym, let alone just on paper. So for us to do 102 members from the month of May all the way to the end of August, I think is remarkable. It just constitutes the hard work we do behind the scenes, and it constitutes the brand and the quality of what we have here and the things that we do. But it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge in many different ways. It's been things that we've had to overcome and constantly overcome. And not everybody sees the same vision as us and sees the same vision as me and what I want to do. And that can be disheartening. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, that could be, as you grow to the top and you start doing more things, I've been speaking on stages across the country. I've been talking about recruiting, talking about, real estate, talking about mindset, talking about all these great things. People lose the sense of what it was when they first started or what it was when they first began, and they miss that familiarity. You know what I mean? And they think they're losing their guy, or they think they're losing their old ways. Well, a couple of things are a must in life, and change is one of them. You're going to have change no matter what, and if you don't really do well with change, then you're going to struggle in life, because at the end of the day, you're bound to see some change. And we've seen a lot of change, and I've changed and I've evolved, and our group and our team has evolved. And, we just had a lot of great things transpire and happen. And, not everybody's going to be on board, but those that are riding a hell of a wave right now and loving life right now.
And I think one of the biggest things is because kept kept our collective eyes on that vision.
And didn't get distracted.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, here and there, probably, for sure.
Well, overall.
But being able to adjust and modify things and not go, man, this sucks, burn it all down and start over. But being able, like you said, to kind of move with things but still keeping the main thing and going after it, no matter what that looks like from week to week or month to month, but keeping that in front of you, even with distractions. That's, I think, where been able to flourish because of that.
I agree, man. It's been a hell of a ride. Well, we'll close with this because it looks like we're running out of time, and like I said, it's been a pleasure getting back in the saddle. And we really didn't have much we wanted to talk to. Kind of just update everybody and give everybody some.
I thought this was gonna be weirder than it actually.
No. I'll save that for.
It feels. No. I mean, just like I was like, this is gonna be weird doing this.
Oh
again.
yeah.
But no, it feels.
The headphones. I missed the headphones.
The headphones.
Yeah, I think they're not hearing, but I didn't like the headphones. I was like, always had them on, but I think not hearing each other kind of, you know what I mean. But I think we're getting through it, painfully speaking. But what y'all can expect, and what our listeners and viewers can expect. Like I said, we're gonna tone down some of the crazy language. You know what I mean. I'm not gonna tone down how I feel because I'll talk that shit when I need to. I'll go on Ric Flair just on anything and anybody any day. But we want to make sure that we're delivering value. We're going to have some really cool guests come up on Champ Talk and be a part of this and kind of bring their visions and nuggets that they can give to help, educate our audience in our area. We're also, we'll be talking all things MMA. We got a big fight coming up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We got the soon-to-be third Salisbury-born MMA champion about to pop up. You know what I mean? I was first. We had our second. And now Louis Amabili, he'll be fighting for the title
October 26th.
October 26th is Stellar Fights. Yep. So we'll be talking MMA, but ultimately, man, just getting back and connecting with our audience, man. It's really you guys that.
Speaking of connecting with the audience, like connect with us, connect with us back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really been the audience.
It was fun when we started getting the feedback.
Yeah, we always welcome feedback, dude. Because like I said, we really do this for our audience and with our audience, and this is it's you guys that listen and tune in and share it and like it and stuff like that, man. That really make this really worth it and really give us value and give us a purpose to get on here and flap our little lips. But you know what I mean? Yeah, I know I was about to say it, but at the end of the day, we just want to provide value and just keep everybody entertained and have fun. And we have some really cool stuff that we're going to talk about, some cool interviews, a lot of cool things that we're going to be bringing to the table that we've been talking about for quite some time. So just getting back in the saddle is great. But that'll do it for this episode of Champ Talk 2.0. I wanted to again remind you guys, if you've got any value out of this, if you like this episode, you like what you hear, please subscribe to the channel, share this, like it, comment, give us feedback. We definitely embrace all that. And I'll end it like I always end it, baby. What are you doing today to become a champion?